I wanted to ask you about the plan. It has to be drafted in accordance to smart growth principles. How does that relate to Bristol the way it is right now? Does that concentrate development in certain areas, or does that dictate conservation in certain areas?
No, I think that the state, what we're talking about here is the state statutes. The Planning Commission under Connecticut state law is required to update its plan once every 10 years. Since the Bristol plan is a 2000 plan, this new provision is going into effect. So we have to be adopted by July 1 of 2015. That's the first rule that we're working under. And the second one is that the plan has to consider the state smart growth principles. And those smart growth principles are actually beneficial and helpful to Bristol, because what they talk about is trying to focus and concentrate development in built-up communities. So Bristol, in terms of promoting new economic development, is a place that the state would want to try to encourage these types of things to happen. We have water sewer infrastructure, so we will compete very well in terms of the availability or the ability to support growth. The open spaces that we have, the highlands, if you will, in the northwest and southwest corners of town are environmentally sensitive areas, or more environmentally sensitive, where we can be careful about protecting the resources in those areas. So I think the state plan is going to reinforce the patterns that we have in the city today and set the stage for future growth. But it's not going to be a threat to us, or it's not even going to. It's not like winning the lottery or anything else like that.
But with economic development, it dictates where economic development has to be concentrated?
No. And the state plan doesn't get that specific. In other words, it really deals with the state as a palette or a mosaic of 169 municipalities. Bristol gets to decide within its boundaries what it wants to do, but we're also going to be constrained by the existing land use pattern and zoning pattern in the community today. So we're not likely to tear down residential neighborhoods and put in an industrial park. We're not likely to tear down an industrial park and put in residential neighborhoods. So we're going to work within the fabric that we've got, but that is also the type of thing that the state plan encourages.
But I saw in the documents from the state plan, it says for concentrating development along transit corridors. Does that apply to roadways, or is that specifically to transit?
A roadway can be a transit corridor. But I think the issue here is that if the busway service is going to go to New Britain and then go elsewhere, there is currently a study underway in terms of the rail line between Hartford, Berlin, and Waterbury, which comes through Bristol, in terms of the potential for that. So should that be another state investment at some point in time in the future, that could pay dividends for us, because to take a train, you could ride a train for a half an hour and be in Hartford and say to yourself, well, I'm not going to fight traffic on 84 or through the bends and et cetera.
57.
So that's a situation, again, where Bristol could benefit from these types of things. So smart growth changes our focus in terms of some of the issues that we're going to be doing, but it's more about making communities more livable, about strengthening neighborhoods and other things like that. So I think it's an opportunity for Bristol. It's not. If you were a rural community out in the sticks away from stuff, and you wanted economic growth, I would say the state plan is probably not going to help you very much.
Right.
Because the state plan is going to want to focus growth in places with infrastructure and capacity. And I think Bristol has it.
Thank you.